Hey there, guys. Good to see you all. We're going to be starting in just a few, so hang tight. Let's see. Beautiful, beautiful. Welcome to everybody arriving. I'm just going to see if I've got, should have everybody on mute. Yeah, so everybody comes in on mute in the beginning. And we'll be starting in just a few moments, so hang tight. Good to see you guys. I know it was last minute, but there you go. I just got it in my mind to do it. So we'll be putting the replay on for anybody that misses us here this evening. Fred Atkinson, good to see you, my man. Nice. And you guys do have a chat function on there too. If you, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. Hi, Fred. But if you want to throw anything in the chat function, if you have any questions along the way, you can put it in the chat. All you have to do is hover over the bottom of the screen and it should appear for you. And you can do that. So we give it just a couple of minutes and we'll get rocking and rolling. I'll tell you what, just because we're here, but why not warm up a little bit while we're waiting for people? So if everybody could, I'm going to ask everybody to think of something that you're really excited about in your life right now. Oh, we got video there. Let's see. Sure, let's see. I should be able to. You may want to turn off your own video for anybody that's got video. There we go. Cool. Now, I thought usually I had control of that, but maybe not. It's all right. We like to see you too. You just never know what somebody's doing at home when they don't expect to be on camera. So, in case, here's what I'd love everybody to do. Let's all, I want you to think of something that you're really excited about in your life right now. This is just a warm up. So everybody think of something you're really excited about in your life right now. And then you're going to type it into the chat function. So what is it that you're really excited about? What about that makes you excited? And how's that make you feel? So what are you really excited about? What about that makes you excited? And how does that make you feel? We're throwing that in the chat function just to get some things moving. But for me, let's see, what am I really excited? I'm really excited about this weekend program that's coming up. And what makes me excited about that is that we've got a nice sized crowd. We're sold out event right now at the Torrance Marriott. So really excited about that. And that makes me feel excited. I'm looking forward to it. So everybody else, if you're just joining us, we want everybody in the chat function. So to have the chat function, all you have to do is hover over the bottom of your screen. And then if you can type into the chat function, what are you really excited about in your life right now? What about that makes you excited? And how's that make you feel? And this is just a little warm up while we're waiting for everybody. So what are you really excited about in your life right now? What about that makes you excited? And how's that make you feel? In the chat function, if you would. And if you're not participating yet, participate. We need you. We're going to be starting here in just 3 more minutes, but we need to get some people writing in the chat function. It's a good thing to do. I don't know if you guys are like really slow typists or if everybody's waiting for everybody else. All right. While you're writing in there, and please do write it in there because I'd love to see those things. But I'd like to welcome everybody here. Oh, no, we got somebody. Luz. Good to see you. Luz Adame is renting an office space for my business. Fantastic. Congratulations. And Fred Atkinson, nice. And then if you would also put, what about that makes you excited and how's that make you feel? Yeah. So Fred Atkinson, finishing tutoring packages. It looks good. Hard work nearing completing is a good feeling. Nice, beautiful. Latanga Watson says, I'm a Gen X federal employee and I need a dynamic change. Yes, you know what, Tanga? I didn't even know, Latanga. I didn't even know what Gen X was until recently, but I guess I am too. So I hear you. Well, the weekend program that you're coming to is really good for that. Both dynamic change in terms of helping you to forge change in your life, but also with putting tools in your hands that you can use to get out there and do something with it if you want to monetize it, which is really exciting. Lewis says, it makes me feel very happy and nervous at the same time. Beautiful. Lloyd, possible move to Oregon. Wow, Oregon. What is in Oregon, Lloyd? Latanga says, this is our struggle. Yes, what, being Gen X? It is. That is a bit of a struggle, isn't it? All right, Lloyd, a major change for my relationship with my son. Nice. Maria Reyes, I'm excited about the seminar this weekend. Looking forward to the breakthrough. I feel excited. Beautiful. All right, so anybody else joining us, if you want to write in the chat bar something you're really excited about in your life, what about that makes you excited, and how's that make you feel? It's a good way to get things, break the ice here a little bit and dive into things. I want to thank everybody for showing up here this evening, everybody that's able to be on here with me, because once again, this wasn't foreseen. Just something that we decided to do here last minute, but it really is for me an opportunity to reach out to you and connect with you prior to the event, answer any questions that you might have, and get you excited about it. I think that's important. Carolyn says, hey, Carolyn, new opportunities, advance my coaching business. Beautiful. And you definitely have the opportunity to do that also in the weekend that's coming up, because that's, I've been blessed for 20 years now to have trained a whole lot of coaches, consultants, educators, therapists. In fact, that's really the realm that I started in. And I'll share with you a little bit about the technologies that we're going to be using this weekend, where they come from, and all of that. But that was that's really my forte. That's my sweet spot. So you're in the right place. All right, we got more people coming on here. Arnold's iPhone raised hand. All right, Arnold's iPhone. Let me see if I can come over to you. Wow, we got plenty of people jumping on now. Yeah, everybody that's jumping on, if you just got on, why don't you share something that you're excited about in your life right now in the chat function? What about that makes you excited, and how's that make you feel? I'm going over to, we got Susan is there. Let's see. I'm going to unmute Arnold for a second. Hey, Arnold, do you want to say something?
Can you hear?
We hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's actually Arnold and Jessica. We're here. We're super excited, Chris. We can't wait to, Jessica's spoken so highly of you. I can't wait to meet you over the weekend. We're really excited about the entire weekend.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, Thursday and Friday off, so we're going to be there for all 4 days.
Oh, beautiful. Very excited. It's going to be a powerful experience. So glad you're both coming.
Yeah, she's been speaking highly about you for as long as we've been together, and I'm really excited to see you.
Hi, Chris.
Is that Jessica Jorgensen?
Yes, it's Jessica Jorgensen, Chris. It's so good to see you. I'm super excited. You have no idea. I don't really want to talk too much, but I'm just super thrilled that you're in Southern California.
That's
and
so cool.
We're going to see you face to face. I know. I'm super thrilled.
Yeah, she hasn't. I think the last time she saw you was like 13 years ago. So she's
oh my God.
When you were starting your practice, and she's been talking to me about you for 2 years. So.
And for everybody that's here, like, I don't even know, Jessica, you must still be doing massage, right?
Yes, I am, sir. I am, and so many other things. My life has completely changed. But yes, I am still a master massage therapist working at Terranea Resort in Ranchos Palos Verdes. Hotel, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, awesome. I'm going to put you guys back on mute here for a second.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Nope.
Very excited to have you there. I'm going to unmute Susan. Susan, are you there?
Hello, is that me?
That is you.
Okay.
How are you?
I am very excited. I saw you many, many years ago, and you happened to introduce me to Lisa Garr.
Oh, wow.
And we have become friends, and I'm a esthetician, so I have given her many facials and vice versa, and she just speaks so extremely highly of you.
She's been a dear friend. I've known Lisa Garr for, gosh, I mean, I've been going on KPFK. I've been on, and I started with Lisa Garr probably 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So she's a really neat person. She's always been a dear friend.
She's an amazing person. I'm very excited. Are we going to be learning about how to hypnotize ourselves?
We're going to be learning so much stuff. Yes. So everything that you learned during the weekend. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll put you back on. I'll put you back on mute, and then I'll give you the lowdown.
Okay, awesome.
Cool. Thanks for saying hi. All right, cool. So everybody, welcome. I want to welcome everybody to the call. I got a few more people that wrote a few things in here. But for everybody that just joined us, people were writing in as we started something you're really excited about in your life. What about that makes you excited, and how's that make you feel? They were writing that into the chat function. You can certainly write those things in, but I'm going to get started here and rock and roll. And guys, I want to welcome everybody to this welcome call for our upcoming Breakthrough to Success seminar. And this is the 4-day that's at the Torrance Marriott starting this Thursday at 8 a.m. We've got registration, and then we go from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. It is 4 days, and people say, wow, 4 days, that's a whole lot. Can I just pop in and pop out? The program's really not meant, or it wasn't created in that way. The program's a transformational program where you have every building block that builds upon the next and builds upon the next and builds upon the next, so that by the time you walk out, we've facilitated a massive shift in consciousness and helped to give you massive propulsion toward what it is that you're choosing to create in your life right now. And in order to do that, it takes every minute of the program that we have in there. So I've got it jam-packed. Now, the other cool thing about this weekend is that, yes, we are teaching the transformational tools as well. The funny thing is, well, not funny thing, but the story is when I rewind the clock here a little bit and look back to when I first started teaching, I was teaching transformational tools. Many of you are familiar with neurolinguistic programming, NLP. So I was teaching NLP for the largest schools in the world. I had, worked my way up through various personal development companies and that type of thing. And at the same time, I was teaching clinical hypnosis all across North America. And so every weekend I was in a different state. And that is a hypnosis joke, but I was literally in a different state. So I was teaching in different places as well. And so in the hypnosis classes that I was teaching, we would do, I would do weight control demonstrations, or weight control. I combined weight loss with pain control. So pain control, weight loss, smoking cessation. And then I'd be teaching the transformational personal programs, which was about breaking through the things that that are holding you back, both consciously as well as unconsciously, and gaining massive propulsion forward. So I was teaching these two different types of programs. And in the hypnosis ones, while we were doing demonstrations, really cool demonstrations of hypnosis, at the same time, I was certifying people in clinical hypnosis. And so as the years rolled on, we built a large company. I ended up doing about $100 million in global sales of my seminars all over the world. Built up a 9-person training team, had 40 international coaches, and at any given time we had different programs happening in different parts of the world. And we had pretty much the who's who of personal development, especially in our foreign markets, in Australia and the UK, coming through these programs. And I've helped to develop in the Australian market and the UK market more $1 million plus speakers, trainers, authors, and coaches than just about anybody out there, especially during that period of time while I was out there. So I was really, really proud of that. And it's been just a wonderful journey. But what was neat is, I took some time off. I went and lived in Bali, which was magical. And if any of you here have not yet been to Bali, throw it on your list. You can do it rather inexpensively, and it's paradise on earth. But I moved out there for a couple of years and just grew my hair long, rode a motorcycle through the rainforest, and then I had to come back. You always have to come back. So here I am again. And what I decided now, in terms of delivering the best of the technologies that I've studied in different places, and I did study shamanism and taught shamanism for a while, and studied with different teachers and stuff as well, Dale Carnegie training. But I decided to take the best of it and put it into what was our weekend format. And so I was teaching previously a weekend program called Breakthrough to Success. It was a 2.5-day weekend. Well, what we ended up doing is saying, hey, why not combine the certification process, where I was empowering people by putting the tools in their hands, in your hands, to go out and make change with other people. Why not combine that with the transformational seminar? And we've got our current version of Breakthrough to Success, which is this 4-day program, which we've got coming up. So if there's any question as to whether you get transformation, there's no question. If there was any question as to whether you walk out being able to do hypnosis, there's no question, right? So both of those skills I like to put into your hands. I was pretty fortunate when I was a kid. My stepfather was always into personal development, that type of thing. So he got me into hypnosis when I was a kid, transcendental meditation, that type of stuff. And I was really into improving myself because I wanted to be different. I wanted to be special in some way. And ultimately everything comes back to that old driving force of wanting to be loved, right? So I studied this stuff when I was a kid, but then I came back to it in my adulthood. And when I got, when I decided to start doing this as a profession was right around, for me, it was right around 1995. And at the time, I had been a sports director for Club Med. So I worked in international hotel resort chains around the world, and that was fun. And I mean, not fun. I put a little reservation on there where it wasn't due. That was a blast. I had a great time. Got to live in some really cool places and stuff. But when I left there, it was a rude awakening for me because, I never really had made my life work. And there, everything was taken care of. They made the bed. You had your meals provided. Everything was there. So coming back out here to the States, I had to make things work really quickly. And I was already 25 years old, so I'd never balanced a checkbook. So it was time to kick things into high gear, and I dove into personal development. And what's interesting was, I had heard about NLP. Let me know in the chat function, who's heard of NLP before? Just write yes in there if you've heard of that before. Write that in the chat function if you've heard that before. This is the participation part. It keeps you awake. It helps. All right. So yes, if you've heard of NLP, yes. Okay. All right. So I had heard about NLP, and that was what I wanted to study at first. But at the time, all the certification courses were more expensive. They were like several $1,000s to take a certification course and to do serious training in it. Lloyd, no, okay, that's cool. We'll define these things. And it was basically tools that you could use for accelerating transformation. That's what NLP was. It was based on studying the greatest therapists on the planet back in the late 60s, early 70s. And then codifying what these great therapists were doing in therapy so you could replicate the change without having to go through years of therapy. And so this hybrid science was created in the late 60s, early 70s called NLP. And so I had heard about that, and I decided that I wanted to study that. And so what happened was, it was, like I said, it was like several $1,000s to even take a basic level certification. And there were several levels of it. But I heard somebody, I don't even know where I heard it. They said, if you get certified in hypnosis, it's an easier in, and then you've got tools you can start working with immediately to coach people. And that's really what I wanted to do. So I went out and I took a certification course in clinical hypnosis, which I ended up ultimately teaching. And it was interesting because hypnosis to me was a little quirky, even though I had studied it when I was a kid, it's quirky, kind of weird. There's stigma, right, that comes with hypnosis. And so I wasn't as excited about getting in there and doing the hypnosis as the NLP. Although later on I'd realized that everything would come full circle and it's all powerful. They say that the true mark of a beginner is the person who says that there's one way, the right way, the only way, whereas the person who's been around for a while has, if you're facilitating transformational work with people, you realize that there's many different ways, and each one could be like a color on a palette, so that you can create the mosaic or the mastery of the transformation that you're helping people to create in their lives ultimately, or for yourself. So there's lots of tools that can serve us well in terms of driving our lives forward in the direction that we want to go. Bottom line is, I went in there and started studying the hypnosis, and I went out and I got clients right away. Now, I know that some of you here have no intentions of ever working with anybody professionally. You know, you may, because when you walk out of this weekend program, you're going to walk out with, I'm going to say, with 6 skills. You're going to walk out with 6 skills so that you can coach other people to produce extraordinary results. And that's my promise to you, is that we're going to skill you up so that when you leave, whether you're coaching people professionally or whether you're helping your kids or whether you're in a business environment, helping the people that report to you, or in any kind of context, you'll be able to get really profound results with the tools that you're going to be learning here. So when I went in there and I learned hypnosis, I went out, started working with people, started coaching people, and it was all on the path toward becoming a speaker, becoming a teacher like I am now. So I started working one-on-one with people, and then I ended up getting, Domar Company says, what are the 6 skills? I said sick, S-I-C-K. That's, I'm X, Generation X, but I talk like a millennial. Just throwing it down, 6 skills. So got trained in hypnosis, ultimately got trained in neurolinguistics, and combined those skills on the path toward building what I ultimately did with our companies. And I've had the grand fortune to travel all over the planet, helping people to transform their lives. And there's nothing I'd rather be doing. So really blessed and honored that you guys are here with me. And what I want to do in our little time here together to help to prepare you and help you to think about, and then what's to say, I hear you. I recall meeting you with Melanie. Melaine or Melanie. But I'm glad you're all here. And if you've met me before, I'm glad you like me. I'm glad you came back. But I'd like to give you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip into the test. And yes, there is a test at this weekend. You don't have to take it, but for certification, we've got the test there. And I make it fairly easy for you. In fact, at one point during the seminar this weekend, we'll have a section that I teach called All the Answers to the Test. And I won't tell you exactly what we're going to teach inside that section, but let's just say it might have something to do with all the answers to the test. So we'll be going over that. But I want to peek into the test and just share with you a couple of the questions on here so that you can get a sense of the direction of what this weekend is going to be all about. So let's see if I can look at our test here. So the first question that's going to be on the test during the weekend is, what is neurodesign engineering? So this weekend is a certification course in neurodesign engineering. And neurodesign engineering is my latest expression of all the tools pulled together in a way where you've got a system for designing and engineering your life in the way that you want. What's interesting is, if you look back to the very roots of hypnosis, and we'll be going into the history and stuff, a lot of fun stuff, quantum physics, love the weekend. But if you look back into the roots, there was a guy whose name stands out in the history of hypnosis and accelerated human transformation. And if any of you are interested in performance enhancement, that's what we're talking about. A guy by the name of James Braid. And James Braid gave us the term hypnosis, which is Greek for nervous sleep. Okay, so, but what James Braid realized, and this is back in the 1800s, late 1800s, what he realized was that in hypnosis, people aren't really going to sleep. Instead, what was happening was they were in a state of let's call it a hyper awareness, where they're even more aware of certain things. In the case of hypnosis, it was the sound of the operator's voice, and they would be entranced by the operator, and they would be really hyper focused on what was being said, the suggestions that were being given. What James Braid, who gave us the term hypnosis, once he realized that it was really a misnomer, he tried to rename hypnosis, and at one point he tried to call it neurohypnology. Neurohypnology, meaning that there was some engagement of the nervous system, the mind and the body, neuro, and hypnology had to do with hypnosis, but he was trying to move away from this idea of people going to sleep. That name neurohypnology didn't stick. In fact, it was too hard to say, so he shortened it to neurohypnology, which just confused everybody. And the term hypnosis is what wound up sticking. But it wasn't until the late 60s, early 70s that a computer scientist and a linguist were studying effective therapists, that they studied hypnosis, and Milton Erickson, who was the really the most famous hypnotherapist of all time. And they studied Virginia Satir, who was a family therapist, Fritz Perls, who was the father of Gestalt therapy. And they codified a lot of the things that they were learning from these people, and they turned it into this hybrid discipline of neuro-linguistic programming. And what a lot of people don't know about NLP is that neuro-linguistic programming it was really using a metaphor or an analogy to better understand a human being. And the analogy was that of a computer. Now, what I'll say about analogies or metaphors is that they can have an incredible use, because typically when we think of an analogy helps us to bridge the gap between the known and the unknown. So neuro-linguistic programming was looking at a human being like a computer. They were saying, just like a computer processes, will run certain programs, for example, so do human beings. They run certain programs that wind up in results that they like or they don't. And if we change those programs, we can change the results. Or if we change the software, we can change the types of programs that we're running in the first place. So this idea of looking at a human being like a computer was, and then combining psychological processes with that, and techniques for accelerating human transformation, we got the science of neurolinguistic programming. The problem is that, and I mean, when I say problem, realize there's a lot of great things with it. We were able to replicate the results of therapists. It might take years in therapy. We were able to get those results in a fraction of the time, and you'll be experiencing techniques and processes like that. The challenge with the metaphor of likening a human being to a computer is that, aren't you so much more than that? Because you're so much more than just a computer. In fact, by likening a human being to a computer, we're actually going backwards, we're regressing, because computers are modeled on us, right? And we're trying to get closer and closer with artificial intelligence now to replicate a human being, because you're infinitely more than just a computer. And so the analogy helps us to understand ourselves in a better way from a psychological perspective. And having said that, it's going to have its limitations as well. And that was one of the things that I found as I was studying and teaching the sciences. And when I reached a point in my life where I needed to increase the amount of money I was making. I don't know if anybody can relate. I was having financial problems, and it's been said that in life we either pay attention or we pay with pain. And I think that works true across contexts. If you fail to pay attention to your relationships, what do you pay with? You pay with pain. If you fail to pay attention to your health, what do you pay with? You pay with pain. If you fail to pay attention to your finances, you pay with pain, right? And I was paying with a lot of pain financially. Well, one of the precepts of everything that we teach is that any result that somebody else produces, no matter how magical it appears, has structure. And if you break the result down into manageable chunk sizes, you can make it transferable to yourself or somebody else, and you can replicate the results that it took the original expert to do in a fraction of the time that it took the expert, because you don't have to learn through trial and error. Right? So I decided that if I was going to solve the financial issue in my life, I needed to go out and find a true role model of excellence. I decided I was going to model billionaires, not because I wanted to be a billionaire, not because I was money hungry, but because I had a problem, and I figured if I didn't want to be a billionaire, I could always scale it back. But don't you want the flexibility to go wherever you want to go in life? So I started breaking down their psychology and using hypnosis to install in myself. And I rapidly shifted the results that I was producing. I went from being $70,000 in debt to making that much a month in less than a year and a half. And then it became that much in a day, and then up to $1 million in a day, or even $3 million in sales in a single day. Not every day, but often enough to make it noteworthy. Right. So I had massive shifts and results. And of course, the financials are impressive, but what's more impressive is who you become when you attain any goal that you hit. And it was certainly that way for me, how I've shifted and changed along the path and grown. And so those are the intangibles of personal development. But these are the tools now. When I think of what is neurodesign engineering, it goes beyond accelerated change. It goes beyond learning techniques to change things rapidly for coaching and therapy. You'll get those when you train with us. You'll get those at the weekend. But it goes into how do you design and engineer your life the way you want using all these tools for accelerated transformation. And that's what neurodesign engineering is. And that is the first question that's going to be on the test. Now, I have a second question that's going to be on the test while we're there. And before I give you the second question and the answers to the second question, I want to point out a couple of things. I've had over the years, when I first did clinical hypnosis, I went there, I signed up, I did the course. I ended up joining the board. At the time, it was the American Board of Hypnotherapy. I joined the board and I was a board member. I later went on to teach for the school and to work for the boards. And what is a board? And I bring this up right now because this is a certification training. Some of you don't care about the certification. Some of you, this is why you're coming. So what is a board? Boards, like I was always swayed away from the boards because for myself, when I went out and I launched my own company later, because they're typically money-making institutions that are owned by the company that does the certifying. And they'll certify their own students. I was not a big fan of that. And so I moved away from the boards, and it was okay for me when I was, we were growing big. We were larger than the boards. I had a bit of an ego that was, and actually it's not true, but I had a healthy ego, I'll say at the time. And so I didn't feel like I had to be a member of the boards. But what happens is the students that come into the classes, they do get questions about, are you board certified and this and that. So because I didn't want to send people off to boards over the years, I toyed with the idea of launching a board. And so many students asked me to that finally that's what I've decided to do. And so this weekend also we're launching a board, which is the International Board of Transformational Leaders, that will also be certifying through. So here's the thing with this. You will be certified by my company upon successful completion of this course by Legendary Living in 2 disciplines. You'll be certified in neurodesign engineering, or NDE, that's my science, as well as neurohypnotic conditioning, NHC. And that includes, and this is at the associate level. There's different levels of certification. This is at the associate level. Upon successful completion, you'll be certified in those. You'll get your certifications at the end of the weekend, which is really exciting and fun. Right now, there's also, you have the possibility now, which we've never done before, and we'll be bringing a lot of our past students into this as well, but you could also become board certified if that's important to you. Here's, I'm gonna give you a website that you should write down right now, and I'll even type it into the chat function so that you have it. It's www.legendaryalliance.com. So it's legendaryalliance.com. And if you go to that website, you can either open it in another tab now, or you can go there after the program here. Legendaryalliance.com. You have an opportunity, if you'd like, to upgrade your enrollment at this program. Okay, so I put in, and I just put this together today because, once again, we had so many people asking us about board membership and wanting to have an extra layer of credibility. So we now have board membership that's available. And I'll tell you, I mean, whether the credibility is real credible or not, most of the boards are a post office box, just to keep it real, right? But people like to have it. So I put on this legendaryalliance.com, if you want to upgrade your enrollment at Breakthrough to Success, you're already paid, you're coming. But if you want to upgrade it, I have 2 upgrade packages that I put on there. I put a silver upgrade and a gold upgrade that can both be found at legendaryalliance.com on that webpage. The silver, both upgrades, whether you choose to upgrade silver or gold, both of them come with board certification. So you'll receive, if you upgrade, you'll receive 2 more certificates upon your graduation that come from the International Board of Transformational Leaders. And those 2 certificates will also be at the associate level of neurodesign engineering and neurohypnotic conditioning. Now, what I'll say about that is that because all of NLP is not neurodesign engineering, but all of NLP is contained within neurodesign engineering and more. So on your certificates, you will also be certified at the associate level of NLP. It'll have all of that listed on your certificates. For that, if you go to that website and you decide, I saw Domar Companies wrote, what's the investment? For the silver level, it's $250. And for the gold level, it's $350. And you can find on that page, I've got, now normally enrolling in any board will cost you typically around $250. Plus what they'll then have is yearly dues. So you pay yearly dues and you have some continuing education. So this is for people that really are serious about wanting to have a board certificate. You can go there, you can check that out. This is a bargain. Yeah, it's cool. And then I put in a lot of little bonuses. Okay, so and you can check it out on that page. At the silver level, you get your board certification, plus you get a hardback manual. Everybody that comes to the program gets a manual, but yours will be hardback if you get silver. And you also get a pocket watch. Here's my pocket watch. Cool. So you get a pocket watch. And the pocket watch, for those of you that are doing transformational work, if you've ever seen people doing hypnosis with watches, old school, this becomes very, very cool if you want to do performance enhancement coaching and stuff. So this watch here that I've got I got this in Prague. Yeah, this is a astronomical clock from Prague. Prague actually has the oldest working astronomical clock. Chris, by the way, my name is Don Martinez. Is the pocket watch in ICW? I don't know ICW. Sorry. But you get this as part of the, what does ICW mean? You get this as part of the silver package. On the gold package is really cool. You get VIP seating at the event. You get a VIP lanyard that says your gold VIP. You get the pocket watch. You get also a pendulum. And we put an extra section in your manual that teaches you how to use a pendulum for working with other people and stuff. And there's other cool stuff, other cool bonuses on there. Your manual signed. So check that out. It's at legendaryalliance.com if you want to upgrade your membership. Now I'm going to jump into the next question on our test. And the next question on the test is, as you'll get as you arrive, is what are the three, I looked at it and what are the 3 steps to transformation? And so this is a concept that we're going to be talking about a lot at the program, the 3 steps to transformation. And, I really took a look at when people are attempting to change their lives. And like I said, I've been blessed to work with thousands. When people are looking to change their lives, for me, the number one thing that people have to do is have a willingness to reimagine the future. Steve says, can I upgrade Thursday morning with cash? You can, although we're ordering pocket watches. So we want to make sure that we get them in time. So you're best off if you want to ensure that we get your pocket watch to do it online before. That's just, but if you had to, and you could do it there, and we'll have some extras. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'd be able to get it to you. But if you want to have it for sure, you'd want to upgrade sooner rather than later. So when somebody wants to change their life, the first step to changing their life, number one, is that they have to have a willingness to reimagine the future. Now, that doesn't mean that they have to believe it. It doesn't mean that you have to believe it yet. Faith and belief is something that we can ratchet up. But we have to first have that willingness to redefine the future. I know that I had times in my life where I didn't believe anymore. I didn't believe that I could make my life the way that I wanted. I didn't believe that I could forge a change. And I don't know what it is for you, whether it be physically, maybe you've given up if you're really honest with yourself, or whether it be emotionally or spiritually, or maybe it's financially, or maybe in the context of your interpersonal relationships. Maybe you've just given up on relationships altogether and you're like, forget it, or, this is, people weren't meant to be in relationships anyway. I think I'm going to be a serial monogamist, right? Or not monogamist, a serial, what's it called when you're alone all the time? It's called monogamy, but monogamy is not with just you, I hope. Unless you're Louis C.K. Okay, bad joke, bad taste. Anyway, I think you happen to be celibate. I don't know. Anyway, there's some areas in life sometimes that we've given up, right? That's okay, Steve. We'll figure it out on that morning. It's all good. If you can do it here, do it here. Otherwise, we'll figure it out. Um, the but you have to have that willingness to suspend disbelief sometimes, and to repaint the future in the likeness of your dreams. If you have that willingness, we can ratchet up the faith. And like I said, there were times in my life where I didn't believe anymore, where I'd given up on certain aspects of my life. And for me, there were times where it just came down to praying and saying, God, please give me the faith that I used to have. Give me the belief that I used to have. And, you pray for 30 nights, that will come back. There's no doubt about it. But you got to have that willingness to first reimagine the future. And the second step, once we've had the willingness to reimagine the future in any area of our life, we can do that. Any area that's not working for us the way that we want. The second step is that we have to, as Gandhi said, be the change that we want to see in the world. We have to act as if. We have to become that change. We have to step inside of it. And there's a really powerful concept that is talked about in a lot of psychology circles and personal development circles called act as if. Act as if you've already got it. Act as if you're already the person who's made the change. Teddy Roosevelt said, I was never a brave man, so I just acted as if I was until I became one. And that's really, really powerful, really relevant too. There's a very famous author by the name of Neville. People go, well, that doesn't sound so famous. Neville, I'm going to write his name down here for you, because I think that if there was one book that you read, and I'll put a book that he's written, if there's one book that you might want to read before you even come that could do you a great amount of good, it would be this book by Neville. It's called The Power of Awareness. Has anybody read that? Let me know in the chat function if you've read that. The Power of Awareness is absolutely my favorite book in personal development all time. And it's by a guy by the name of Neville. He only goes by the one name. His name's actually Neville Goddard. But the entire book, The Power of Awareness, is about a singular concept. And that concept is the power of living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So it sounds a lot like the law of attraction. In fact, I remember I had lunch in Santa Monica with Rhonda Byrne, who was the creator of The Secret. And we had a big discussion about Neville, who was the impetus of a lot of her thoughts and ideas when she wrote the book The Secret. But nonetheless, Neville talks about the power of living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, but he makes there's a caveat to that. He doesn't really focus on what you're having or what you're creating. He doesn't focus on the external goals. His focus is on who you're being. So when he talks about living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, he talks about living in the feeling of being the person who could make your every dream come true, living in that state, right? The millionaire the millionaire because they've got $1 million in the bank, or do they have the $1 million in the bank because they're a millionaire? You know what I mean? So who you become determines everything that you do, and therefore what you create. So if we're only taking care of who we're being, then we'll absolutely do what we need to do in order to create what it is that we want to create in our lives. But it comes back to that beingness. And the magic of beingness is that it's something that you can have now. You don't have to wait 5 years to be the person that you're choosing to be. That's something that you claim every single moment. So when we say be the change that you want to see in the world, it's stepping into that power. In hypnosis, in traditional hypnosis, there's tools that help people to do that. There's a technique called deep trance phenomena. And you guys are going to be learning throughout the course of the weekend. If you've ever been curious about hypnosis, you'll know what it is. You'll know how to do it. You'll know how to elicit hypnosis in other people and yourself. As a matter of fact, if you do the upgrade package, for those of you that are doing the upgrade package, you're going to learn how to do it with a watch as well. So you don't need the watch to go through the class. There's other inductions, but you can do more fun stuff if you get the watch as well. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. And once again, if you want to upgrade to silver or gold level, go to legendaryalliance.com. www.legendaryalliance.com, and you can find the silver upgrade package and the gold upgrade package. Nonetheless, there's a technique in hypnosis called deep trance phenomena. And I apologize. Deep trance phenomena is a class and category of things that occur while you're in a deep trance. But there's one particular aspect of that, which is called deep trance identification. You may have seen this before if you've ever watched a hypnotic stage show where the hypnotist tells somebody on stage that they're like, you are now Michael Jackson. And the person goes, oh, they pop out of trance and all of a sudden they're dancing around the stage like, where did that come from? And the question that I have to pose to you is, you have this maybe this meek looking wallflower that all of a sudden bursts out into dance and song, and they're dancing like Michael Jackson and they're good. Did that talent always exist prior to that hypnotic stage show? Yes or no? Somebody tell me. Did that talent always exist prior to that hypnotic stage show? Must be the change. Yes, the talent was always there, right? But people get in their own ways, right? Have you ever gotten in your own way? Have you ever played small in your life, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or financially? Have you ever shrunk before? Maybe just to make other people feel good about themselves, or play small and wear a mask so you're only playing at a fraction of your potential in any given situation, whether it be on your career path or in the presence of authority figures or in dating or whatever. We all play small at times, right? Well, if we have this unlimited potential inside, if this person has the ability, the capacity to be told that they're Michael Jackson, and they lose all inhibition and they go in and they become Michael Jackson, that's power. That's called deep trance identification technique that is done in hypnosis. But that's a power, and that's the power that we all have. Right? We all have that ability and capacity inside of ourselves to let go of all of our inhibitions and grab our power and embrace it and live it, and to shine in the most powerful way that we can possibly shine. That's within you, that's within me, that's within all of us, right? And so when we talk about being the change that you want to see, we do have tools that we can do where we can hypnotize you to get rid of your inhibitions and to release your full power. I mean, I've used that, and I've used the techniques that you guys are going to use this weekend to unleash my own performance in terms of singing on stage and different types of things that there's no way I could have done it without it. But what's fascinating about Neville, who talked about living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, is that Neville was an actor. Fancy that, coming from Los Angeles down here. So Neville was an actor. So this whole idea of acting as if and being the change, living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, came naturally to him. And so there's a lot of power in that. And so the second step, if you want to transform any area of your life, and we'll go into Neville more at different times, but the second step is, once you've had the willingness to reimagine your life in the way that you really want it to be, then bathe in the feeling of being the person who can make that happen. And the more that you do that, let's say that you start 15 minutes a day where you're bathing in the feeling of being the person who can make these things happen. Then you take that 15 minutes a day, it becomes 30 minutes a day, then it becomes an hour a day until you crowd out anything else, and pretty soon that's who you become. So that's the second step, is to be the change. The third step then, if we're really looking to transform our lives on massive levels, is to elicit the willing cooperation of others to form a team. If you've got a dream that you want to make happen, then you may have heard before that it takes teamwork to make the dream work. Walt Disney said you can have the most beautiful dream in the world, but it takes people to build it. So if you have you have the desire and willingness to reimagine the future in the likeness of your dreams, you become the person, the highest divine expression of yourself, the person who can make that happen. And then you develop a team to make that dream happen and bring it into fruition. That becomes powerful. And so bathing in the feeling, what do I mean by that, says Fred Atkinson? What I mean is, like, if you were like, first of all, you have to figure out what the target is. If the target is we'll just use this, I know it's not everybody's dream, but being the multimillionaire. Okay. If that were the target, then what's that feel like? What's the feeling of that wish fulfilled, and meditating in that feeling, right? So that, because like attracts like, you're going to attract things to you, but also what you're doing is you're anchoring in that new sense of identity at the unconscious level. There's more, and we'll be going over a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of tools this weekend that will help to empower you toward that end. So that was the second step. And then we got to bring the team together. Now, we have to have the ability to work with other people and to make any kind of a dream work. Imagine if you had 100 people or 1,000 people working for Domar Company. Says, what's the URL for the board? I don't have a URL for it yet. So I'm just putting this up today and we're launching this weekend. So we'll be putting it in there. I grabbed a bunch of domains, but I don't have it in there yet. So you won't find anything at this point. But this weekend we will. Imagine if you had 100 people or 1,000 people or even 1,000,000 people conspiring for the success of your dreams. Do you think that you'd make them happen any faster? It's a question I have for you. Do you think you'd make them happen any faster? Okay, that's over to you guys. Would you make your dreams happen faster if you had 1,000,000 people working? Yeah, absolutely. Right? There's no doubt about that. So then the question becomes, how do you achieve that? How do you get that? How do you bring that together? How do you get the willing cooperation of the people to help to build your visions and intentions and turn them into realities and results? Well, the best definition of leadership that I've ever heard came from a guy by the name of Roy Camerano, who wrote a book called Entrepreneurial Transitions. And in that book, he said that the enlightened leader is the person who can assist others to self-actualize through the accomplishment of a noble objective or a noble vision. Okay, I'll say that again. The enlightened leader is the person who can assist others to self-actualize through the accomplishment of a noble objective or a noble vision. So in other words, we're helping to bring out the best in other people. And that's what leadership is all about. Now, when I worked for Dale Carnegie Training, my boss, a guy by the name of Tom Kiblin, one of the best leaders I ever met, nicest guys in the world. We got about 10 more minutes here, so hang tight, hang with us. Once again, if you want to upgrade to silver membership or gold membership, go to legendaryalliance.com. Legendaryalliance.com. You got the membership upgrade packages there, and you can check out all the benefits and stuff, and you can upgrade. Yeah, on the board, we're just launching. We're launching this weekend. We don't even have the corporate structure, so we're getting the corporate structure this weekend. We're putting everything in place. So that's where it is, and I think you got to look at the board as being exactly what it is. It's nothing more than a second set of certificates that says you're twice as smart for the moment, but it has meaning for people as they go out there. And we'll be putting more meat on the bones of the board as we move forward and stuff. But really, it's just going to be a certification body and a standardization body. So just so we keep it clear. Yeah. So Tom Kiblin, best boss that I ever had, incredible leader. He was the type of leader that he was always present with you. Okay, this is something we're going to be building within you at this program as well, at this training. By the way, all of these tools we're going to be helping to build within you. The ability to reimagine your future or help others to do the same. The ability to be the change that you wish to see or help others to do the same. The ability to build a team and have that leadership in your DNA so that you can pull things together and make that happen, right? So what was magical about Tom Kiblin, he was very present. He always listened. He was able to see things in me that I couldn't see in myself. So that was, see my own potential. And so Tom Kiblin was just an amazing, amazing man. And I was on a track of thought when I started to say that, but it'll come back to me. What I was going to say was that Tom Kiblin, his job was to bring out the best in me, right? His job was to bring out the best in me. Why? Because if I, as a salesperson inside Dale Carnegie Training, increased my sales, what's that do for him? Okay, it increases the sales of the company. Now, if he is able to also develop me to become a leader of people, now he's got a sales manager and who can affect other people. So when we say that the enlightened leader is the person who can assist others to self-actualize, I'm not joking about that. That's the real deal. Your job is to bring out the best in other people. Now, there's power in this. And the reason why I say that is a concept that I really want to drive home before we wrap this evening, and that is the idea that it's the same thing that it takes to bring out the best in you that it does to take take my speaking course too, that it takes to bring out the best in other people, right? You need to help them to reimagine the future. So hypnosis is all about, and become the change that they want to see, right? So those are things that you need to guide them to. But there was a friend of mine, a guy by the name of Errol Campbell, and I see a couple of questions that are coming in about the address for the event and stuff. I'll give that one more time before we end. But there's a friend of mine by the name of Errol Campbell, and he had built a school in theta healing in the UK. And while I was living in Bali, he came out to Bali, and something had happened with his company. It had all fallen apart, and he had to start from scratch. And there he is in Bali. He ended up meeting with the youngest high priestess on the island, a girl named Ida. And he goes to Ida and he says, Ida, what do I do? How do I build up? I had so many people in my programs and stuff. How can I ever build again? And what Ida said to him was very telling. She said, don't think about all the people. She said, think about one person. Just get one person, and you pour all your love and all your attention into that one person. And as they expand and as they become everything that they can be, the rest will come. So this idea of being able to focus on one person, right? Whether you're growing a business or whether you're looking to build a team and bringing out the best in that one person. Is, what's a team if not a bunch of individuals? So bringing out the best. If your job is to assist others to self-actualize to the accomplishment of a noble objective or a noble vision, then the tools that you're learning for transformation as you're going through this entire 4-day experience with us are the same tools that are going to turn you into an incredible leader who can galvanize groups of people to create things that perhaps you never could have even dreamed of creating before. That goes way beyond personal power to personal leverage. And that's where we can change the whole world. So I'm really, really thrilled to be sharing these tools for accelerated transformation with you, these tools for leadership, this certification training. It's a blessing to be there with you, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Okay, so the people have asked what's the address for the event. It's the event's being held at the Torrance Marriott. The Torrance Marriott, and the address at the Torrance Marriott is, I will pull that up right now. It's 3635 Fashion Way. So it's 3635 Fashion Way. It's Torrance, California, 90503. So the registration starts in the morning at 8 a.m. and then the class goes from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And Steve, we'll take care of you. I see what you got coming in right there. So that's all good. So it goes from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. Do expect to come for the whole time. Expect to stay till the end. There's on one of the days, on day 3, we are going to be going outside. So I'll give you more details about that when we get there in terms of how to dress specifically for that day and stuff. We're doing it outside. It's beautiful out there on day 3. But the hotel, you're really going to enjoy that hotel. It's a great hotel. The parking is $8 a day. That's a discounted rate that we have. I think that about does it. You will have lunch. We'll have lunch breaks each day right around 1 o'clock. So you have time to get up, stretch your legs, go out and do whatever you need to do. And we're going to rock and roll. It's going to be a very intensive training with a whole lot of fun. I like to keep it fun because I think that's the best way to learn. And when you walk out, my promise to you is if you pour yourself in, you play it 100%, you walk out, you're going to walk out with some incredible skills that you'll be able to use immediately, either to continually change your life for the better, or to work with people that you care about or that you love, or if you want to work with these tools professionally, it's the same way that I started, and I'll teach you how to get up and started. We'll also do some marketing tips during the weekend, which will help you, if you want to do it professionally, get up and started in your own practice, your own coaching practice, with little to no cash outflow. That's always a good thing, and big cash inflow. So that's really exciting as well. So once again, if you'd like to do the upgrade package, and with the VIP seating and with the pocket watches, all the fun stuff that we've got going on there, and the board certification, You can go to legendaryalliance.com. That's legendaryalliance.com, and you can sign up for either the silver package or the gold upgrade package. And whether you're doing one of those packages or you're coming in for the basic package, whatever you're doing, you're in for a great time this weekend. It's really a fun weekend, and it's my pleasure to be there with you and to share these great tools that have made such an impact in my life. If I did not have these tools, there's no way that I could have created the companies that I did, impacted the lives of the people that I have. And I know what an impact it's made for me, and it'll certainly make that for you too if you apply yourself and if you play full out. So with that, I'm going to wrap up here. How about if everybody puts one thing in the chat function before you go on the way out? What are you most inspired by right now as a result of this meeting? What are you most inspired by right now in your life as a result of this meeting? So throw that in the chat function right now. What I'm most inspired by right now as a result of this meeting is connecting with you. Because, here I've had just a small opportunity to meet some of you, and I'll recognize your names and whatnot inside the program when I go. So I'm inspired by the fact that we can have an even greater connection while we're there at the weekend program. So everybody throwing that in the chat function. What are you most inspired by right now in your life as a result of this meeting? Throw it into the chat function so we can get some good vibes going out here. I've got a couple of questions here that are coming up. I'll look at these as you're typing. Carolyn says, I registered for the event. However, I found out that I have to work on Thursday and Friday. May I attend Saturday or Sunday, or should I wait till the next event? Yes, Carolyn, come both Saturday and Sunday. Yes, and we'll get you in there, and all is good. So come to both of those days and you'll still be good, because you're going to miss part of the transformational stuff, but we're going to be working with getting the tools in your hands. So you can still come Saturday, Sunday. That'll be good. And then you can make up the next time we run it, although I can't promise when that's going to be, but you can make up those days. Susan says to everyone, I'm inspired by learning to hypnotize myself. Yes, and we will be covering self-hypnosis, so you'll walk out with that. Steve, I'm most inspired by the fact that we can empower each other to achieve more of our potential. Yes, thank you. What else, guys? What are you inspired by most as a result of this call? Carolyn says, I did get certified before, inspiring by honing skills. Good. Inspired by honing skills. That's awesome, because there's never a time where we master it. It's like, it's so funny, because I have master level certifications that I give and courses that I give, but I mean, shoot, I'm still mastering this stuff, and I think I'll be mastering it for the rest of my life. I think it's a lifelong pursuit. And then beyond mastery is artistry. And boy, if we get to that level, we're doing pretty good. Anybody else writing in there in the chat function? What are you most inspired by? Going, we got 30 seconds left. I'm totally inspired to apply my healing strengths and combine them with stronger communication to build a new business within cryptocurrency. This is all new for me, and I'm highly motivated. I just got a new client, somebody asking me to come to Australia. He's the producer of the movie, what's it called? You guys will know it. Some of you, see if you know this movie, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. If you saw that movie, I'm flying out to Australia to do some private work with him, so it's kind of neat. That's a cult classic, right? Let's see. I feel inspired by the way you deliver the information. I feel empowered already. I love it. Pamela says, has this call been recorded? Just joined. Yes, we're glad that you're here. Call has been recorded, and I will put it up someplace, and I'll send an email out so that people can check it out before the program. And if anybody has just joined us and you haven't gone to legendaryalliance.com, you can go there if you'd like to upgrade your package to the silver or gold level at legendaryalliance.com. Jessica says, I'm totally inspired to apply my healing strengths and combine them with stronger communication to build a new business within cryptocurrency. This is very new for me, and I'm highly motivated. Sounds very cryptic. Just kidding. All right. Let's see. Chris, I'm empowered by personal development. I'm an NLP practitioner. I cannot make November 18th as my daughter's getting married. That's all right. Come in for what you can. You've got a skill set that's a foundational skill set, and we'll find ways to catch you up. Make sure you let somebody know there that you've got that. Your daughter's getting married. What kind of excuse is that? Latanga Watson says, I'm inspired by the possibility of deconstructing outdated professional constructs and transforming into what I've always wanted to be professionally. Yes. Steve says, only transcendence at the end of this life will ever be mastered. Yes. Everything else is continuing expansion and upgrade. Love it. And Jessica Jorgensen says, she'll take notes for you, Chris. Look at that. Okay, guys, we're gonna have to call it. You guys rock and roll. Have a great evening, and we'll see you Thursday morning. Have a great night, guys. Ciao.